Welcome to this week's auction video of the middle of August. These auctions will be ending anywhere from the 16th to the 18th of August, and we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. Starting off with our most represented person ever. He is in every single video, and that would be Chimera, and that would be this beautiful Hypo pied 100% Het Clown female. For the lucky 777, right now anyways, and 22 bids, this amazing animal could be yours. It's already a double visual with a Het Clown, so my recommendation would be to get a visual clown with either double het, or quite frankly a male is going to probably be cheaper. So get yourself a het clown, maybe clown hypo, or clown pieds are pretty cheap, and get the het hypo in there and then add some genes in there to sprinkle on some awesomeness, and kind of go from there. It already looks amazing, and the hypo and the pied just work so good well together. Very cool animal. I think it will go for a very nice price. And this one is our earliest ending one, and we have one actually, it's the same exact genetics, another female from Chimera. So maybe you want two, or let's face it, more than likely, let's just say you miss out on this one, you don't get it. Well, you have a chance here. What is going on here? 777 222. There's got to be some sort of meme or like some sort of troll thing that I'm missing out on when it comes to bidding on animals from Chimera. I don't know. They're just equal numbers. So maybe you go there and bid 333 on this animal, or outbid this one with 888. So just don't get the 666. That'd probably be bad luck, right? But yeah, lots of different potential here. I mean, just these two animals here alone, you could begin an amazing breeding project. Just an outstanding opportunity there. Next one coming up would be more of a, what I'd call a pet level at this point. Not much time left and a ridiculously low bid. One of my favorite morphs is Pinstripe, and I love Pinstripe clowns. Completely wipes out the head and have these makes the Pinstripe even crazier in my opinion. But he could breed for you. He is a proven breeder at that. So if you just kind of want to learn and you want to get a clown and you don't want to spend much, I mean, there's a chance that the shipping might dwarf the cost of the animal or come very close to it. Some of these auctions are that way, and for breeding purposes, a lot of big-time breeders are gonna not really be interested in this, but especially if you're just looking for a pet, this is a good one, and I think they look cool. And remember, this is an adult, and that's what it looks like, and I think it still looks great. Moving along to another boy would be this Pastel Redstripe Calico Yellowbelly Clown 50% het hypo, and it does shine. I really like this animal. And I want to call attention to what Calico and Redstripe and Yellowbelly are really doing here. You can see the pastel right there, but it's like sand-blasted kind of coming up. It's a little bit more focused on the front part of the snake, but you can see this like peachy sand type color. That's those genes kind of just like working together. Obviously Calico really creates that sandy type look. It really obliterates pattern going up, and you can even see it down here. It's kind of reaching up and doing that. It really just kind of goes up there with these kind of dotty type patterns. But then your coloring is coming from your Redstripe and your Yellowbelly. This is a really cool animal though, and it could be a very powerful breeder, honestly. I know some people might try to stay away from this just because of the pastel, because pastel and clown kind of dirty up when they get a little older and whatnot. But I look beyond that and I look at the Redstripe. I think Calico clowns are horribly underrated in my opinion as well, in the right combos. And then I also look at the 50% het hypo. Him proving out his het hypo is a big time game changer for this. Redstripe, in my opinion, with the Yellowbelly, those two combined with the potential for the 50% hypo. If you get this boy, make sure you send in a shed test, because that is a good potential there of making something that's even better. And then you start picking your females up around that. So maybe you get a hypo het clown with some other genes in there and you make some really sick stuff. This could potentially go for cheaper. It has less than a day as of right now, so it'll go for pretty cheap, in my opinion, honestly, cheaper than it should. And it has the potential to be a big time breeder for you. It definitely has use, honestly. You've got some big ones right there, and little do you know it, but this is technically half of the genes you need to make a Pompeii or something like that. So start working with some black pastel, you start working with the spot nose that I was mentioning earlier, and you're suddenly cooking with gas then. Don't let the pastel scare you away. Sometimes people look at one thing, they see pastel, and then they immediately click off. That's to their own benefit. Not every animal that this breeds to is going to pass pastel. It's going to be 50% of the time, on average anyways. So I think this would be a good pickup. Just make sure you test that shed before you start buying females that have het hypo, so you can make sure that it proves out. This one really caught my attention here. This girl here is like hues of pink. It's a Furrow Coral Glow Pewter possible het hypo. And Coral Glow is another line of the banana gene. They are the same genetically. So Pewter, by the way, is the combination of cinnamon and pastel, and they work very well together. That's why it gets a nickname. Anything that works well together gets a nickname, right? But you can see sometimes people freak out about pastel. This is not one that you should, because it's amazing. I've talked about Furrow in the past, and it's a much less worked gene. You can kind of see here what it does to the pattern, and it kind of brings in a little bit of this granulation, granite sparkles and whatnot. But I've seen other ones, especially in combos, I think it does quite well. And we've done very well with a lot of these granite ones, and I think it does really cool with this in particular. I always like when you're able to get these little, like, the eyeballs, and you can kind of see through, and it creates this bluish hue. Spider does that a lot. I noticed that in a lot of spiders they have those, but everybody knows about spider, and nobody likes to mess with that typically. But this one is very, very cool. Like I said, it has like a peachish, maybe a pinkish type look to it, especially here. That's a very cool animal. But Furrow is something that's not really all that worked by a lot of people, and it's a good way that you can set yourself up, and it is possible to hit hypo. So again, being a female, you can find use for this regardless. Even if it's just the Furrow, you start working that into some of your combos. But if it proves out as head hypo, again, you can start getting males or putting males with the hypo gene to her and get some even more crazy things. So again, another potential one that you'd want to send in a shed test for. This one has piqued my interest. It is a bamboo lemon pastel het redexanthic, het monarch, possible het pied. That's a lot of stuff, and I need to explain some stuff because I said some hets in there and they don't all match up. Usually when I say het, what it means is it is a recessive, and it's not showing the recessive. Well, het redexanthic is not a recessive. A lot of people call it HRA for short. If for whatever reason it got the name, I don't know the history behind it. I think maybe they originally thought it was a recessive, but it is not. It is an incomplete dominant. So there is a super form, and the super form is just called the redexanthic. There are a lot of lines of this particular one as well, but we won't get into that. I just wanted to show that this is indeed not a recessive. But anyways, back to this animal. I love bamboo. It's one of my most favorite genes. It's in the blue-eyed leucistic family, and it does a lot. It brings in this kind of tranquil, grayish almost type look. Now this one doesn't exactly look like that because it's got, well, other things in there, but it sometimes has this calico type look to the side, messes with the pattern a bit, and it does a lot to the animal. I really love bamboo. It might be my favorite incomplete dominant, quite frankly. And then there's lemon pastel. You know, we said pastel before, but what the heck is lemon pastel, right? Well, lemon pastel is not its own gene. It is just another line of pastel, and as you can see, they create a little bit more of a yellowish, like lemony type look. I like them a little bit better, I think, than the regular pastels, but they're not worked crazily. A lot of people in our community don't, for whatever reason, do too many of the polygenic lines, and that's what that is. Lemon pastel is just a polygenic version of the pastel. It's just a little bit more lemony. But what I really, really love about this is the het monarch and then the possible het pied. And it's one that I just created. It was a het monarch het pieds. So this sort of thing would be very interesting, possibly even to me, because I would like to pick this up and mess around with those genes and get those into my monarch project, much less not even thinking about into the pied project. Now, bamboo pieds sometimes will create very high white snakes, if not almost completely white. This has a good potential to end fairly low, in my opinion. There's only one bid on it in less than 24 hours, so I think that this would be interesting. I am actually gonna favorite that one. I favorite everything anyways, but it'll be in its own thing. Moving along to this beautiful animal, with this Yellowbelly Lavender Albino Het Pied. And it's got some good interest to it, but of course that's because it is a dreamsicle maker, basically. You get yourself a pied Het Lavender to save a little bit of money with maybe Orange Dream or something else cool that I love in lavender is Blackhead. And you can make some really cool things with this. And even so, the cost of dreamsicles have gone down. So maybe you get a male for an okay price and you can start making some really cool stuff here. I had to show this one off because I don't know when that video will go up, but we filmed it today, and there was a challenge that involved this very animal, so I had to call it out. Hopefully it goes to a great home. It's beautiful. I love the lavender albino. Yellowbelly works great with this. There's a lot of different things you could do to create some really bright, beautiful animals. Like I said, Orange Dream, Enchi, wow, they're great, trust me. But I have a real soft spot with lavender. Combining it with Blackhead, it's so great. All right, moving right along to this butter, which is another form of lesser het Sunset. It's a proven breeder at that. No 50% here. Now it does have a reserve price, but if it can beat the reserve price, this is a way to possibly get in the Sunset for a little bit cheaper. So I had to show it off. Anytime you get one of these crazy bigger genes that are really popular and up and coming, you gotta show that sort of stuff off. It's a proven breeder at that. Like I said, if you were to breed him just to a normal, 50% of the time, on average, all the babies are going to pass on one copy of the Het Sunset. So you could create your own Het Sunsets and do it the long way if you really want, or you could go get yourself a Sunset and at the very least guarantee that you're getting Het Sunsets, or get yourself a Het Sunset girl. And Het to Het is not the greatest, but on average you're going to hit one and you're going to get all of your investment back. Very cool animal. If you like the Sunset project and you want to start on a cheaper budget, this is a way to do that. I always love these types of animals. It really makes me realize why people love and fell in love with the Desert Ghost project. But this is a Pastel Desert Ghost, but it is also 100% Het Clown, and that is a big deal because Desert Ghost clowns are so cool. And as you can see right here, Pastel and Desert Ghost go super good together. It's so clean. Any of the idea that Pastel browns out goes away when you get these animals. Breed this one with confidence to a Clown Het Desert Ghost if you want to save a little bit of money, and you could be making some DG clowns yourself and really put yourself on the map and start to make a name for yourself. Again, the investment here speaks for itself. You will make that money and then some, and you'll have a lot of fun doing it too. So I do not work Desert Ghosts, but when I see things like this, I definitely don't completely rule it out. They are beautiful and they always have been, but this one would make some great babies for you. Moving right along to this Orange Dream Fire Enchi Champagne Clown, which is possible Yellowbelly. Now, I have never put a champagne in here because champagnes, I feel like the epitome of chaos when it comes to ball pythons. You get champagne in most combos and champagne conquers the whole thing. It is so unbelievably powerful. Also, you got to be careful what you pair it to. It is one of those genes where you can create a lethal combo. I believe Champagne to Champagne is also one of those. I know Champagne Spider, stuff like that. You can just, anything that hits those is dead. So don't do that. But he's really cool. I don't know what kind of price this animal will go for. It's got a $500 starting price, so I don't know. I just thought he was cool and I wanted to call him out because Champagne does not work with everything all the time, but it works quite well here. I really like the head. It is incredibly orange with these very so slightly speckles of very deep purple. Heck, you could argue that this is like veins on it, like blood in a way, kind of like those varicose veins. What do they call those things? I don't know, whatever. But then the color itself is very wildcatish, like a cheetah in a way. It's very cool. I like the peachy undertones. I like the white near the belly. The fact that this white just somehow transforms to a burnt sunny orange as it goes up, and then the pattern itself, like I said, just kind of just reminds me of like a savanna cat of some sort. So a very cool animal. I had to call it out. I don't see very many champagnes that I do that, where I kind of geek out about them. All right, moving right along to this lace Enchi butter. Het Clown male, and the whole reason he is here is because of that lace right there, and it's got some good genes to go along with it. It's a very good and handsome gene, incredible, and especially if you hit the white lace, it's incredibly good. You can see it right here. Enchi and butter don't create an animal like this. You can start to see it start to glow. They age incredibly well, and there's a lot of different combos that lace works great with, especially with Clown, and you can create that right here just with getting a visual Clown girl, because lace is an incomplete dominant, meaning that super lace, called the white lace, is a possibility eventually if you breed out or get another lace female as well. But whatever you get, make sure it has Clown in it, because then you are going to create some amazing animals. I highly recommend this one. It will go higher, but I don't know why it's not higher than what it is right now, quite frankly. All right, here you're looking at a Grail. Well, Grail is a Clown Lavender Albino. There's a lot of potential here too. Grails are very popular. I really like this more so than even the Albino clowns, because I feel like they kind of wash out a little bit more. The Lavender Albino just pops a lot more. I mean, like, look at that head. That's incredible. I feel like the albinos, it depends, because there's a lot of variety in those anyways, and there can be on these too, I suppose, but a lot of times it can be a little bit more washed out in some cases, whereas these are a little bit more vibrant. And when they do kind of wash out, it turns into a lavenderish color, which is a lot more pleasing in my opinion than just like the two-tone yellows. Not that I hate those either. In fact, they're amazing, but this one I just feel is a very cool one. And a male at that, looks like he's breeding size or just about to be at it anyways. He could eventually start making you some crazy things. Everything he breeds to will be pass one copy of Clown and Lavender Albino to it. Now usually I like them to have a little bit more genes in them, but he'll be a good price, and you can start creating some cool grails, especially if you get your females. You could get a double het, save some money, and you have the female actually packed. A little bit backwards there, but who cares, right? As long as you get some cool stuff. Our first group of the day would be this 1 to 3 Ultramel Pied project. So the 1.3, whenever you see that, the first number stands for males, the last number is females. So this is 1 male to 3 females Ultramel Pied project. A male Ultramel Het Pied, and then 2 double het Ultramel Pieds, and 1 Pied Het Ultramel. So when you breed the Ultramel Het Pied boy, which would be this one right here, to these females, the double hets, every single one of them will at minimum be Het Ultramel, and they'll be 66% Het Pied. That's not bad, especially if this ends in a reasonable price. The Pied female here, Het Ultramel, is the one that's really great because everything will at minimum be double het, and you'll have much better odds of hitting the double visual, of course, too, which is amazing. Ultramel Pieds are very, very cool. So here's your male, here's your Pied Het Ultramel female, and then your 2 double het females. They look like they got some size to them. It does not say, though, what their sizes are. It does have a reserve price, though, so I don't know what that ends at, but depending on that price, it could be an outstanding deal here just to get started in something very cool and have all of the animals you need to create that double visual right away. I always show off some Hognoses. Here's your Hognoses this week. So let's go through a few of them here so that we can highlight some of them. And we'll start off with this male Super Yeti, otherwise a Super Conda Albino Exantic. The Yeti is the combination of the Albino and the Exantic. Super is, well, Super Conda. And Conda by itself has a lot of cool little dots on there, kind of like an Anaconda, and the Super Conda completely gets rid of those dots. Creates an animal that's all just one solid color, except for when it gets to the head, where it's got this cool little winged mask. So in these combos, I really like Super Conda. I feel it serves it well. Sometimes I don't because I like the pattern, but in certain combos like this, where it's like a pink color, very cool animal that can do a lot of things for you. It'll be less than a day by the time this video comes out. $4.30 for a hognose. Those are good prices. This is a good deal if you want to work this project. Next up would be a pair of Sunburst makers, if they prove out, I think. The female is a Conda, you can see these little dots right here, a Sable, and Sable brings in these darker patterns, so you're seeing these dark chocolate looks to her. I really like the Sable, I love it. And then she's 66% Het Albino, so it's not 100% guaranteed, and then might be Arctic as well. And usually it creates a darker snake, so that's a possibility. They did not put that in the listing, but that's kind of cool as well. Could be Arctic. And then the male is a Sable. This is the male here, and you can see how dark and cool he is. The female, I'm not sure if she's pictured, but she is the Conda Het Sable, 66% Het Albino. So you're not 100% sure that you're going to get the Sunburst here, which is the combination of Sable and Albino, but you are going to get Sables, and those are very, very cool, especially if you hit the Arctic Sable. That would be amazing, which this one's already amazing, so it could be. So this is a good deal. Moving right along to another Sable project from the same breeder would be this Sable Conda, 66% Het Sunburst. This one's crazy looking. So that one's more dark. This has very reddish, rusty type tones. I really like this one. And Conda brings in these kind of little spots rather than the normal. And if it proves out as Het Albino, this would be very powerful. I really like this one. And look at that belly, just pure black. Wish there was more pictures of the belly. Like someone spilled ink or took a Sharpie down there. It's so cool. The last two will be from JMG, and this one would be a pair. This would be an Arctic Sable Conda, 50% Het Toffee, and a female Sable Conda, 66% Het Toffee. So the male Arctic Sable Anaconda, 50% Het Toffee, and the female is a Sable Anaconda female, 66% Het Toffee. So you could possibly hit the Toffee Sables if you're lucky, but regardless, this is good. And GMG is probably the most well-known hognose breeder, and they make quality animals. So a lot of great potential out of these two, and it's 2 snakes, remember, you're getting here. And then one more here, also from JMG, would be this Super Anaconda Albino Purple Line Het Red Albino Lineage. That head is insane. Look at that. That is the coolest head. I honestly, this is kind of almost where I wish it wasn't Super Conda, so I could get that red more. But in a way, it almost adds character to this. It's like a war mask to it. It's so cool. And the purple line is what's really bringing in a lot of that stuff. In a way, I can see why the Conda would still be, for most people, really like it, because it helps add so much contrast, but you'd still get this coloring with that still in there. So a very cool animal. The bidding right now is pretty low. If you want a good male from a great breeder, this would be a way to go if you wanted to work those projects, and I highly recommend that you pay attention to these, because purple line is a polygenic trait and they're very important Hognoses. They really add a lot of flavor, and this animal is a pretty powerful breeder. All right, continuing right along with the Pieds, we're starting off on a really good one here. Since I clicked on this has gone up in price, as it will continue to, and that is because what we're looking at is a Suma Pied, and it is one of my favorite Pieds you can make. This animal can't decide if it wants to be jet black or a beautiful golden mahogany brown, and I'm all here for it. I love what this does. The clash, you know, obviously sitting on the contrast of a beautiful stark white and this clash of color of black, brown, and gold, all just mixing in this just insanely beautiful animal. Suma Pied is probably my favorite of all the dark type snakes. I'd rather this than a Panda Pied. I get the whole black and white thing, but I'm all here for this now. This is better because it's a different kind of contrast, because you have the normal contrast here between the whites and the pattern, but there's something more within it. There's a battle of every speckle, of every pixel of this animal going on for color, and it is an absolute work of art. This is just bursting color. It's like the creation of a universe. Absolutely gorgeous. If this ends anywhere near this, it's an actual crime. If you get this for anything under $1,000, then you are a very lucky person. Moving right along to this Redhead Black Pastel Mojave 100% Het Hypo. This is a really cool opportunity because Redhead is a highly underrated gene, and it works quite well with the genes that it's here. I think this is a beautiful snake. You see this kind of purplish tone, this hue that it has? That's really the Redhead working together with the genes that it's in there. That's what Redhead does. By itself, it's very unassuming, and quite frankly, you wouldn't think much of it probably. But in combos, it is excellent. Look at a lot of the clown combos that it's in. It's great. The fact that this is also a Het Hypo means a whole world of potential. And Hypo, I'm so happy, is re-becoming more popular as people are discovering what it can do when combined with a lot of these other genes. It's been around for a while, and I feel like it went away, and it was just kind of just like, it's Hypo. Almost how people feel about some of these other genes now, like Pinstripe or maybe even Albino, even though their lineage speaks for itself. Hypo has come back because of its ability to work with other genes so incredibly well. I would argue that it's becoming as necessary to add Hypo to many things as it is to Desert Ghost again. The relevancy is incredible, and this animal having the Redhead is something you should not pass up on. There's no reserve here. It has a little bit of interest. It will go up, but there's some people who might not look at things like this and see the bigger picture. And this is the bigger picture, the Redhead. The fact that you also have Black Pastel in there, the fact that you can also still work with Mojave, and Mojave is adding a lot to this as well, kid yourself not, and then that Hypo. You get the visual version of this, and then you're in the game. And again, this isn't a female. That's where I like to see my hets if I gotta get them, is in there, because you get your male to be a visual, and you don't need them to be a Redhead. She's got that already in her. You can get other genes now, like Blackhead, and other such things, because it will create an incredible animal, and it will blow everyone's socks off, I guarantee you. This one has also gone up since I clicked on it, and it will continue to. That is because we are looking at a Clown Het Sunset female. This could go for an incredible amount, because Clown Sunsets go for about 10 grand minimum. They are incredible, and this is going to make incredible babies. You get yourself a male Sunset that's maybe Het Clown, and neither are going to be incredibly cheap, but that's okay, because you are not going to be making incredibly cheap animals. And quite frankly, I say you get more, you know, and if you really want to save a little bit of money, if you get this animal and you don't want to get the visual Sunset Het Clown, at the very least get a double het and then pack them with genes. This is not going to be for everybody, but this is for this could be for a serious investment breeder, or someone who wants to kind of dabble in that higher end type stuff, because this is incredible. Love the picture, by the way, the split right there, getting the tongue. Yeah, it's a great opportunity to create some crazy investment animals right here, but it's not going to be for everybody. This is your more high-end price. Really love this one. This is a super Blackhead, super red gene clown. That's 66% Het Hypo, and if this proves out, that is one heck of a smoke show right here. There's a reserve price on it, but look at the interest in that with 57 hours. I don't know what that reserve price is. It could be a lot, but it could not be a lot. Look at how insane this animal already looks. Man, these work so good together. You remember, you're not seeing the Hypo. If this proves out, I mean, whatever you're paying for this, you send another shed test in so that you can get yourself a male with Hypo in it, and you are gonna make some crazy things. It already looks so goddamn good. I love the pattern on it. Like, I mean, this is amazing. It's already a smoke show. It's so insanely beautiful. The fact that you could do more with this. Think about the power here. Every single thing will be Blackhead. Every single thing will be red gene. And again, red gene is another unassuming gene. It's very subtle by itself, but in combos it's amazing. So that's one of the ones you like to have along for the ride. And everything will be Het Clown. This is powerful. You're guaranteed 3 genetics immediately. If you were able to send the shed test in and it proved out, it would be wow. But yeah, you should be breeding at minimum a visual clown to this male, and if it proves out as hypo, I'd say a visual hypo, and throw some extra genes in there because you are going to create some game-changing things. Hopefully somebody can snag this beyond the reserve price, and Goodies Exotic always makes very quality animals, as you can literally see with your own 2 eyes. Here's another one you don't see very often, and that is a rainbow. Rainbow is a recessive gene. It's in the family of, well, lavender albinos essentially, and candy and toffee, and those are the same genes basically, but rainbow is its own, and I feel like it is the best. It creates, as it ages, the best looking animal. And if you need more proof, well, look at this animal, because it's an adult, and that's what it looks like. They look even better. They look so good. Look at the splotches of orange in it. They really hold their colors incredibly well. Rainbow is a project that some people might sleep on. There's no reserve on this, I guess is what I'm getting at. It's gonna go for whatever it goes for. And if it's, again, here's another one I'm gonna keep an eye on, because they should be going for more. You look up any rainbow that I've seen before, they're not crazily worked, but they have, in my opinion, they're the best of those types of genes. That type of albino anyways. They are just so incredible. It's still got some time to it, so I'm sure this price will go up. It's got a little bit of interest, but I feel like there'll be some people who see this and just pass over it. Don't be one of those people. Moving along to a proven breeder, and that would be this Enchi Pinstripe albino breeder. There is a reserve price on this, but it just got uploaded not long ago, and it is fresh off the presses. Somebody threw a placeholder of $5 on there right now. This is from Royal Constrictor Designs. Garrick DeMeyer is a quality breeder. I'm a good guy, and I have gotten many of his animals in the past. I really love the way that these genes all work together, especially as babies. Now see how bright this animal is? This is a female, and she's still got these nice beautiful oranges to her. As babies, they are fire. They are so on fire. I know a lot of people seem to shy away from just the normal albino these days, but I have a soft spot in my heart for this gene, and I'm telling you right now that if, depending on how you want to sell, if you want to sell to especially a pet market, albinos sell all the time. The Pinstripe just create this sunburst type look. Not much more to say because it just really speaks for itself. Big time proven breeder, had the last 2 years off, so it's ready to go. If you were wanting to plug this in right away and start off creating animals, depending on what that reserve price is, this could go into your kind of starter type collection. And quite frankly, I wouldn't turn my nose up at something like this because I think it's important to have a diverse catalog, I guess, is kind of a cliche word for it, but you know, be able to appeal to more than just one type of breeder. But not everybody will do that, but I think it is a good deal for the right person. Moving on to another Het Sunset would be this lesser Het Sunset, Het Lavender, and 50% Het Piebald. So this is a male right here. A lot of potential here. For one, Lavender Sunset was my favorite sunset I think I've ever seen. It was really bright animal. I loved it. And it's already got the Het Lavender in there. So get yourself a Lavender Het Sunset female. There's no reserve on this. And I feel people, sometimes they don't pay attention to the beauty underneath the skin, so to speak. They'll look at this and they'll be like, it's a lesser, and they'll just kind of click off. Don't be one of them because there is no reserve to this. And like I said, with that Het Lavender, that really makes the difference. But we haven't even talked about the possible 50% Het Pied here. That is incredible. If you could get the Lavender Sunset Het Pied, this is a no-brainer that you send this for a shed test because it really affects what kind of female you get. There's a lot of different options here too, because you could get some visuals to put to the female, or you could take a cheaper route. The longer route, of course, though, would be to create a lot of these hets yourself, send in the tests, and then breed it back to this male, or some of the hets that you create, I should say. But it's not as crazy likely you're gonna hit a triple het from the babies. So I would definitely go and get yourself a visual of at least, I mean, heck, the Lavender Albino, which is a Dreamsicle, by the way, they've come down in price. Just get yourself one of those, and you know, maybe throwing the Het Sunset in there will make it not as cheap, but what you create will make up for it, I guarantee you. One of my absolute favorites is the GHI Mojave. Now, if you add a little less known gene, which is really cool, to that in Vudoo, and the ever so popular Leopard, you've got something that is incredible, and it's very, very, very dark. Vudoo is in a way somewhat similar to GHI in that it's a granulation type gene, but it's got its own unique flavors. And the reason I call attention to this one is because of the Vudoo and the price, and I feel like this one might have the potential to be slept on and not paying any attention to. It's only got one bid at $5. I'm gonna change that right now just cause this is incredible potential right here. You can work Vudoo into a lot of different things and kind of have something that's a little bit more unique, something that's not as worked. You know, somebody sees that and they're going like, what is that? It's a conversation starter too sometimes. It is a little bit of marketing 101, but you have something that's impressive looking. You have a different kind of name to it. People are going to say, what is that? And now you have a conversation with them and that opens the door. In general though, this is a cool investment to get into. And beyond that, you've got 3 great genes along for the ride with that Vudoo gene that we're kind of targeting there. And speaking of that, if you miss out on this one, you can get one that just is about the same but without the leopard. And look at the difference here, how it brings in these little kind of like ghostly side patterns versus here it's just basically gone. Maybe just little poofs of it. That's just so crazy. But you know, of course the difference here is that that is a female. So you know, why not get both and create some really crazy things? They're all coming from the same breeder, of course. They are very cool animals. I really like the Vudoo gene. I really like anything granulation though. Moving right along to this banana chocolate pastel het desert ghost. Again, no reserve, and it already looks so cool, and it's just a het desert ghost. And that is because banana and chocolate work great together, just like they do in real life, right? This is an incredible animal. And this looks like the rainbow that we looked at earlier, but the fact that this isn't a desert ghost is mind-boggling. If you were to breed a desert ghost to this female here, you'd have the potential to hit all of this with the desert ghost. Just absolute fire, just an amazing, cool opportunity here. I don't even know what else to say. It speaks for itself, right? This beautiful purple, it's very bright, very clean. It's one of the best looking bananas I've seen. I've coveted the chocolate gene for a long time now, and I think it's time to change not having it in my collection someday here soon. If you work Desert Ghost, you should be going in on this. No doubt in my mind. So gorgeous. Moving right along to this Stranger Black Pastel Het Clown. So talk about 2 dark genes, smashing them on top of each other. It's kind of crazy the contrast though, because look at the back stripe, kind of bright, and then you get this dark coloring, and then just a shading. A very cool animal. It's also being Het Clown that makes it a lot more powerful. What's this last picture? Het Marais. Oh. So just to let you know, I didn't see this when I clicked on it. The pairing is a stranger spot and those possible Het Marais to a black pastel to create this. And how's it Het Clown? I think that's a typo. I believe that they're meaning to say that this is also, the black pastel was a clown as well. But Marais is, well, let you see yourself. It's the same thing as Monsoon, basically. There you go, just another line of it. So if this proved out to be Het Marais, that'd be really, really wild. Just a cool looking animal, and kind of a proof here that Stranger has come down. Now granted, it just started, this will go up a bit, but you can get Strangers now for a very good price, and they're very cool. So, you know, if you want to work the clown genes just as a Stranger Black Pastel, this would be very powerful. Of course, we do like our het and females rather than males, but with these 2 genes stacked on top of each other, I think this could be worth taking a chance. Showing off our last 2 here would be this Xanthic VPI 100% het genetic stripe. I don't show very many Xanthics, but I wanted to show this one off. It's again from Chimera, of course, but it is just started. Who knows what this stuff will go for, whether it is a pet or not. Xanthic is a very popular gene because of how different they are. They're either gray and whitish or black and whitish type snakes. Very cool. And the genetic stripe, of course, creates that just stripe down along the back when you get a visual version. So they make really cool, beautiful animals. If you are into the Xanthic gene, this could be something that you want to use to breed. Or if you're looking to get into it as a starter breeder, this will probably go for a very reasonable price. And then finally ending it off with this Yellowbelly Dreamsicle. I just got up there. It will probably go up for a little bit more, I'd say. But no reserve on this one. Also from Ball Pythons 101. I think they've been on our list a few times today. Very powerful. If you get this, I'd say just get the visual male because it won't be as expensive. And quite frankly, get it with Orange Dream. So you create an ODYB Dreamsicle. Just kind of create a little bit of a cool Dreamsicle pumping out machine right there. You very quickly, if you're just looking at it from a monetary point, get your money back and quite frankly make some really cool looking animals. Hope you enjoyed this week's video, and if you did get anything or bid on anything, let us know. I always love hearing what you got. If you did like this video, we kind of mentioned a few genes here that we also highlighted on our top up and coming incomplete dominant and dominant genes right here.